Well, hello, pop culture fans, young and old and in between. Excuse me. You are listening to the Top 5 podcast, which I hope that you know because you did have to physically download this, kind of, or at least like it in your podcast listening app, as well as your YouTube channel. Doesn't matter. I don't care. Thank you for being here and checking out our show. I am your host, Chris McPeak. And I mean, what can I say? It's not a show without Annie Pruitt. So, hey, Annie Pruitt. Hi, Chris. I mean, I'm sure I could do this solo, but it would not be nearly as fun. There's no witty banter. And I'd be like, okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. So, Annie, I appreciate you so much for being part of this incredible thing that we do that we find so thoroughly. What's the word I'm looking for? It completes me.
It completes me. It gives me a good reason to have it gives me credence to my pop culture wicked habit.
Right? Yes. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's a good excuse to hang out with my sister and that I need one. I don't need one, but yeah, I'm having a good time doing this with you, Annie Pruitt. So I thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris McPeak. I love it.
Of course. All right. So we have been rolling through what this is probably my favorite series of all time. It is the Billboard Hot 100 series in which we are picking landmark things from our lives and selecting that year. And what's been so super cool about this is that we've only had one overlap year, which was pretty, because there's only one turn of the century that we've been alive in, and that would have been 1999. So all the rest of our lists have featured different years, and they've been pretty fun. So we've covered our high school graduation year, our college graduation year, when we got married, when we turned 21. There are more fun ones coming. Boy, I thought we had more of these in the can, but I guess it's still, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There'll be 10 of them, I think, before we're done.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there, but it's been a great series. Enjoying it a really, really lot. A really, really lot? Is that?
Okay. Yes.
Whatever, I'll take it. It works. So, Annie, what are we covering today?
So today's going to be fun. This is going to be the Billboard Top 5 from the year of our first concert. So for me, I will be doing the top 5 from 1987, when my first concert I attended that you took me to would be the Kenny Loggins. What was the name of that tour?
Was it called Meet Me Halfway? Because that was the big song.
I think it was the Vox Humana tour.
You're right. Oh my God. Vox Humana.
That was the 1987 year.
What a great album. My year was 1978, and my concert was Sean Cassidy. And I went with our Aunt Judy and our brother Mike, and we drove up on this bus full of mostly teeny boppers and cougar moms to Alpine Valley in Wisconsin. And Judy, because our aunt worked for WLS Radio at the time, secured backstage passes for us to go and meet Mr. Cassidy and take a photo that I believe I still have. Although I think when I got to a point in my life where I decided I didn't like Sean Cassidy anymore, it wound up with lots of pinholes and things, which is really humiliating. But I was devastated that he was a smoker. I was like, you smoke. This is terrible. We can never be married. He was a cutie pie. And this would have been the Under Wraps tour, I want to say. Anyway, this will be a fun list.
Yes.
All right. So you started last time. Should I start this time?
Yes, that would be great.
All right. So let me find where this one charted. I guess that doesn't matter. I'm going with Here You Come Again by Dolly Parton. And I've always liked this song. It was definitely more of what I would consider a pop crossover. Dolly, I mean, obviously is one of the greatest country artists and one of the greatest country songwriters of our lifetime, anyone's lifetime, I guess, for that matter. She is an icon. But this song charted on the pop charts, in addition to the country charts. And I loved it then when I was still listening to the WLS, top 6 of the week or whatever it was. And then I remember Carly Smithson on American Idol she covered this in one of the weekly challenges. And I remember it was such a great cover. It was such a great rendition. It was more slowed down, like a true ballad. But yeah, I should try this at karaoke one of these days because it's got range and yeah, super awesome, fun song. Here You Come Again, Dolly Parton, 1978.
That's on my playlist right now. Would you believe that?
I would believe that, in fact. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that's a good pick. All right. Well, my number 5 also has the word here in it. It's Here I Go Again. The song.
Oh, my Lord.
White Snake.
Yeah. Jesus, Murphy. What do we have to?
I love this song. I still love the song. I have so many fun memories. And one of them was coming back from a school trip. And of course you had the big boom box with the cassette tapes, and we had it in the back of the bus. And my good friend were just singing it as loud as possible. And we're still friends to this day, if you can believe that. It was like, if I have any friends from high school, this would have been one of them that I still sing. And it's on my playlist. I thought it was great when they kind of relived it in Rock of Ages, the Broadway musical, because I love that. I love that show. I love the video. You can't not love the video. You can't not think of Tawny Katane, which makes me think of Wayne's World. How much Wayne and Garth loves Tawny Katane in that music video, because she just made Dancing on Cars like iconic, and she was the hottest thing ever. Probably the hottest chick in a music video of all time. Didn't much care for the love affair with her and David Coverdale. That just seemed wrong because he was not a pleasant looking man. But anyway, I love the song. It's so much fun. It's great to sing to, and it's still it like, I went through a dry period of it, but it hit my playlist again about 5 years ago, and I've found a new love for it. So that's going to be my number 5 from 1987. Here I Go Again by Whitesnake.
Here I go again on my own. Okay, well, yes. So then we need to have the top 5. I forgive my sister for putting out a playlist list. It's not on why it's not Goo Goo Dolls Slide, that's for sure. But
it is not.
You're highly reminiscent. That was my sophomore year in college. Okay.
Yes.
And I had MTV by then. So all right. My number 4 is from a disco diva who sadly is no longer with us. Disco was huge in 1978. It's the top, I don't know, there's probably 50 disco songs in the top 100 at least, but I'm going to go with Last Dance by Donna Summer.
Nice.
And this was in a movie. This was in Thank God It's Friday. But I remember having the album Live and More, which was a 2-album set that Aunt Judy had secured for us from the radio station. And this was a powerhouse of a tour. And Last Dance is just, it's a great song. It's a great thing to sing at karaoke when you're like closing down the show for the night. But this one was a major chart topper. It was very well played. And there's like different iterations of it. The single version that was played like on the radio was not the same thing that popped up like on her albums and on her live records. But this version from the Donna Summer Live and More is probably my favorite. That's probably the one I'll put in the playlist. But I enjoy this one. Donna Summer was for sure the queen of disco. No arguing that. And yeah, happy fun times.
Do love her. Yes. Okay. That's a good one for that song this time. All right. So, 1987, it was really, really hard to pick just 5 because there are so many, like there's at least half of these songs that are on my playlist because it was just a great year for music. So I'm just going to like caveat with, this is one of the hardest ones I had trouble putting together.
Oh, dude. Yes.
Right? I really kind of hated it at the time, and I love it today because it's such an iconic song and for so many different generations. And so that's going to be I've Had the Time of My Life from Dirty Dancing.
Nice.
I'm so sick of it at the time. I loved the movie. I saw it in the theater twice, but then they just played it over and over, and I just got sick of it, sick to death. But then when I watched Dirty Dancing with my kids, I don't know, about 5 or 6 years ago, and then, with the passing away of Patrick Swayze and just something about that movie now and that song I love. I have so many great memories associated with it. I love its use in other pop culture. So in the music Crazy Stupid Love, when Ryan Gosling is telling about how he does the move with Emma Stone and he does the move, it's just, you can't not love how it is transcends generations. It becomes popular again because somebody finds a way to make it wonderful and beautiful again for the right reasons, not to make fun of or, in a vicious kind of way.
Yeah.
So I love it. I like dancing to it. I like listening to it. I don't sing very well to it, but I try my best. But yeah, so my number 4, I've had the time of my life from Dirty Dancing.
Good call. Did that win an Oscar? It was definitely nominated for the Academy Award for Best Original Song. I don't know. I can't remember if it won. I think it won.
27 that year.
Yep. My God, this is another freaking awesome year for me. My Lord.
It did. It won the Academy Award for Best Original Song. And
it's a good one. Okay, so where are we at? We're 4 for me, right? No.
Correct. We are
3 for me. Okay, so probably one of the only songs to chart this year that was not disco. And you can't have one without the other. I'm sorry. To play We Will Rock You without following with We Are the Champions is, of course, sick and wrong and should be illegal in all states and most countries. So I'm going with the 1-2 punch of We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions by Queen. This was one of those songs, like it came on the radio and you stopped everything that you were doing because you had to do this wherever you were sitting. So great. And, it became a stadium rock phenomenon, all of the things. Has anyone ever covered this other than Colin Farrell in the Recruit movie? But he just sings the beginning of it. I don't know. I fucking love this song. I fucking love Queen. I love everything about Queen. And the minute that I saw this, it went right on the list. I'm like, I cannot not have this on my list. It is so amazing. I think it's the only Queen song on the list. And again, in a year with so much disco, to have something that is both hard rockin' and, the ballad part about We Are the Champions. And, you read all the other things into it, whatever. I'm sure that they didn't really write it about sports, but it fits and it works and it's amazeballs.
Yeah. Good call.
Thanks.
I love the scene in Bohemian Rhapsody when he's talking about how he wrote the song and how it was the audience participation that made him do the stomp, stomp, clap.
Yeah.
It had having to do with something that happened in a previous concert. So I love that scene explaining why he wrote the song the way that he did. So yeah. That was cool.
That movie's so good. It was so well cast. And, I think about when they're telling the stories about these big hits that they had, and immediately what it is they're talking about when they're working on it. Like when they talk about Crazy Little Thing Called Love, and I've got this guitar riff that's really fantastic. I don't know. But what an epic, iconic, amazing rock and roll band. Holy motherfucking whatever. Yeah, big time amazingness.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. A little off the rocker there, McPeak. Easy done.
That's number 3 to me.
Yes.
Okay, number 3 to me also, not because of the being awesome in the year 1987, but because of subsequent pop culture moments. And that would be the song Hip to Be Square by Huey Lewis and the News.
Fucking A, man. Oh my God.
I loved it when it came out. I think I had this cassette tape. I loved a lot of the other music on that particular album, the album 4. But when about 10 years ago or so, when I was watching American Psycho with my daughter, I've seen that movie probably 10 times now. The song is central to the one scene where Jared Leto gets axed, and Christian Bale is doing his little dance in his rain slicker clear jacket. And the line goes he's talking about puts the cassette on, plays the song, and he's talking about it and refers to it, a song so catchy. Most people probably don't listen to the lyrics, but they should. And then he goes on and on. And hey, if we're talking any kind of a song, we will use that lyric and then automatically start singing Hip to Be Square. So it's on her like top 20 of all time songs because she loves it. We both love that movie a lot because of the way you can analyze the characters in the film. Anyway, great song, super fun. I actually have listened to the lyrics and I do love it because I do like the idea of talking about conformity and such. And I'm a total nerd. I wave my nerd flag proudly and I tell my students, you be you and be unapologetic about it. So this song actually is like one of my theme songs because I'm cool to be an absolute nerd. So there we go. Hip to Be Squared, my number 3 by Huey Lewis and the News.
I love it. And so a little bit of trivia about that song. I guess you have to get permission, to have songs in your film and this, that, and the other thing. And I don't know how they were able to, probably because it was originally in the book and Huey Lewis had given permission for it to be talked about in the book. I don't know how this stuff works. But what wound up happening is that they released American Psycho soundtracks with Hip to Be Square on them. And then Huey wanted those pulled. He was not happy about the movie and didn't want his song featured on the soundtrack, even though it continues to be in the movie. It is a central part of the plot of that movie. But I bought that soundtrack with Hip to Be Square on it and wound up selling it, I don't know, on Amazon or eBay or something, and then find out later that it was, an early soundtrack before they had pulled the song back. So if I was bidding on that now, I imagine that CD would be worth a little bit more money. And it's hard to believe that movie is already 24 years old.
Isn't that crazy?
It's insane. Like Christian Bale is 24 years older now than he was when he made that movie.
Yeah.
And that movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a good book, but it's a very disturbing book. And the movie is funnier and more satiric, I guess, about the 80s than the book is, because the book really is heavily graphic in places and not always very fun. So love the movie way more than the book.
So the story is they paid for the rights to use it in the film, but not to put it on the soundtrack. Uh-huh. So that's why, and it was in Overlook. They overlooked receiving the rights for the soundtrack. Simple as that.
Yeah, and you don't screw around with that copyright rights shit. That's some heavy stuff.
Yeah, I think one of the Emily Can't Stand Jared Leto, which is a point where we have very loud disagreements about it. But she just another reason she likes that scene is because Paul gets killed.
Where's my water bottle?
Yep. Oh, there's hey Paul.
Hey Paul. And I have this one too. Do you see my?
Oh, I love it. Yep.
You like Huey Lewis and the News?
That's number.
I need to buy a Redbubble sticker that says I have to return some videos. It's the greatest reason of anything to why you should leave somewhere. It's just the best. What about our past? We never really had one. I could quote that movie all night long and it makes me happy. So, okay. Number 2 to me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Super crazy ballad. Another Academy Award winning best original song. I love singing this at karaoke, but I have to be with older people because younger people don't know it. And that is You Light Up My Life by Debbie Boone. From the movie of the same name starring Didi Khan, right around the time that Grease was popular. And she did not do her own singing. She was dubbed. But this is a powerhouse song. It's got a great chorus. It's if you have a voice with good range, this always feels really good to sing. And this one came in at number 3. I think it was the first song I saw that I was like, this has to go on my list. And I remember listening to this on the radio. I've never seen the movie, oddly enough, but yeah, this song is a winner and I love it so much. It makes me
too. I was one of Jenny's art. Like, I think all three Mayer sisters loved this song. Jenny loved it too. And her best friend, Debbie Eckberg, used to like pretend like she was Debbie Boone when they were singing in their, little,
Wow.
in
I
their
must
tweet.
have,
Yes.
I blanked that one out.
Yeah. Hey, would you believe it? For my number 2, I've got some Madonna.
Well, look at that.
So my number 2 is La Isla Bonita by Madonna. I think this is one of my all-time favorite Madonna songs, if you can believe that.
I can actually.
I love the way it built. I love the melody. I love the beat. I love the song. I love when it was covered in. I talk about Glee a lot. I love the first 5 seasons of Glee, first 4 seasons. But they covered this one on Glee when that cutie Ricky Martin was a guest on the show. So he sang that with one of the cast members. So another reason to like it, because he's such a pretty man. But the music video was not very big. Wasn't huge or viral. The song
Kind of boring.
Good. But I just love it. I think it's a beautiful song with a beautiful melody. I love singing it. I love singing it very loudly as I listen to my music. There you go.
La Isla Bonita is one of the songs that Madonna will perform in concert, but she always mixes it up a little bit. So that one and Holiday and Like a Virgin, she has been known to. And so my favorite performance of this song is from the Girly Show, when she really puts a Latin flair into the performance of it, and they're wearing the little, they've got the do-rags on their head and the sailor shirts and the really wide sailor pants. That is a fantastic performance. It's a good song.
Yeah.
But this is not from Like a Prayer. This is on the True Blue album. Okay. I was looking at this year. This is 1987. I did 1989. So all the Madonna songs from this year were a combination of, I think, carryover from True Blue and then the Who's That Girl?
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible movie, but relatively decent soundtrack.
What a cute song.
Yeah. Okay. So what am I on? I'm on honorable mention.
Yes.
Okay. My honorable mention is a Linda Ronstadt song that might have been country, but more pop than country. And so it's called It's So Easy. And this song, I think I put this on here because I remember seeing it in the karaoke book at the Village Inn in Bellingham, Washington, when Charles started working there and Allison McDonough and I started hanging out there. And I don't know why I told myself I should sing that song. But the first time I sang it at karaoke, I really loved it and it felt good. And it's got this great little part in the bridge with funky music and that whole, I was talking about this on one of the other shows, like not a drum, but like a wood block, hitting the wood block. And I think this is also a remake from somebody else. I get some Linda Ronstadt and Terry Clark songs that they both performed or covered or recorded, and I tend to get them confused. This one, it was a Buddy Holly song. Released as a single in 1958 by the Crickets, but failed to chart. Anyway, I really have always liked this song. It all came in at number 90, so it didn't do that great. But the second that I saw it, I was like, oh, this is going on the list because I've sang it at karaoke. But in a year with really a lot of disco, and again, not that I don't like disco, disco's fine, but it's refreshing to see other things that pop up on these lists. Yeah. And this was one of those that I like Linda Ronstadt as an artist. She was married to Jerry Brown, who has been governor of California twice. And I've heard that she is just one of the most stage fright people. Like, she hated to tour because she had huge stage fright. But she does have a really beautiful, sweet voice. Yeah, so there you go.
The woman is
HM.
I love her. She is one of the most beautiful women ever.
Yes, isn't she stunning? She is.
Yes. So I have both the Holly version and the Linda Ronstadt version on my playlist because I like a ton of her covers because she also does a lot of Roy Orbison, if you would recall. But the Buddy Holly version, I love the guitar in the original. It's very rockabilly, and then made it. She gave it a country vibe, which was fun and cool. So yeah, great pick. Okay,
Oh dear, she's giggling.
my honorable mention is 100% guilty pleasure, and that's going to be I Think We're Alone Now by Tiffany.
Yeah, rockin' I love it.
So it's so funny when it came out and she was doing the mall tours and in the video, her little dance thing that she does. But it has also since transcended pop culture and it has arrived in other forms. So one, you've got my favorite Billy Joe Armstrong doing a cover of it on his No Fun Mondays.
Right.
So he released that cover and it was freaking phenomenal. And then you also saw it in the Umbrella Academy when all 6 of the brothers and sisters are each in their separate rooms and they start playing and they're all dancing to the song. It's one of my favorite scenes in the Umbrella Academy series. So it's one of my running songs because it's fun to run to. It's got a great beat, but I listen to both the Tiffany and the Billy Joe Armstrong versions of it. So maybe it should have been higher because I listen to it way more than I do Lies La Bonita. Not because I should.
And that's okay.
It is.
Yeah, no, that's a good. I always liked Could Have Been. And again, because of karaoke, it's a song that gets, for a ballad, it gets people happy in karaoke. So that was always the Tiffany song I enjoyed the most. But, how can you not like I Think We're Alone Now?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
I think we're alone now.
And it's a cover. Tommy James.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good version too. I like it because you have to pay homage, but yeah. All right. Anyway.
Oh, and I got to go back to and I got to make sure that I'm accurate in my number 1 song because now I'm concerned. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So my number 1 is in honor of the concert where I attended first in Alpine Valley, Wisconsin. I'm going with Hey Deanie by Sean Cassidy. I think Hey Deanie was the album itself, although that doesn't seem right because I thought I went on the Under Wraps tour. Maybe I did not go on the Under Wraps tour, but regardless, and maybe I went to, anyway, never mind. I'm sticking with it. This is my story and I'm sticking to it, but I still know all the lyrics to this song and I had the biggest crush on this boy back in the day. I had all his albums. One of them was signed. I thought he was the neatest, cutest thing in the whole world. We watched all of the Hardy Boys episodes, such that they were. I think that show only lasted, 2 seasons, if that. He wasn't really an actor per se, but he had that lovely 70s feathered hair and the tight satin pants and the satin jackets and the little, like newsboy hat thing. And he was just cute. And this is just a fun teeny bopper song, like the majority of his songs. And I can't complain. It's adorbs. So yeah, there you have it.
I just found that vinyl recently and purchased said Sean Cassidy vinyl album. Yeah. I have that. Yeah. It's funny. So That's Rock and Roll came out before Hey Deanie. And then Billy Joe Armstrong also did a cover of That's Rock and Roll. Mm-hmm. It's funny how he picks songs that, anyway.
Somehow or other, like the songs I think that we love the most that tend to become cover songs that we also like the most. I'd have to dig deeper to think is there a song that I really, really loved that turned into a cover that I really hated or vice versa? I don't know. I'm going to have to let that marinate, but regardless.
I'm reading
Billy Joe Armstrong can cover as anything the fuck he wants as far as I'm concerned. Him and Jim Jett. They can cover anything they want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm reading the song Hey Deanie. Eric Carmen wrote it. And he wrote it for the Deanie character from Splendor in the Grass.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
And Eric Carmen shows up in the Dirty Dancing soundtrack.
He does.
Hungry Eyes.
He does.
which was another chart topper of that. Well, maybe not that year, but that was another hit from that.
Yeah.
For Shizzle. That is crazy. Where did it go? Hey, Deanie.
Where did Eric Carmen go? Here's it.
Cutie Pie. Born Late. That was from his album Born Late. Okay.
I like Make Me Lose Control the best. But anyway, so that is number one to me.
Yes, it is. From 1987.
Had to go with a tie on this one. I could not choose which one I like better. From the Slippery When Wet album.
Yes.
Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi. Arguably one of the greatest rock albums of one time. They still use Living on a Prayer in stadiums for every single NFL game, baseball games. You hear it all over the place. But of course, like all great hits do, it burned out because they overplayed it. And then somehow 10 years ago, like the stadium started playing it, and then it became cool for junior highs to play it in their like assemblies or something. And my kids just loved it. So it came on the radio one day, and all of a sudden they start singing along, and it's like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. My kids are singing one of my all-time favorite rock songs. And now it's nostalgic for a multitude of reasons. I love singing the baseball whenever they choose to play it. I'm still waiting to get put on the Jumbotron while I'm, singing it one of these days. And then Wanted Dead or Alive, probably one of another great rock song that, is covered in Rock of Ages. So Tom Cruise singing Wanted Dead or Alive was super fun. He really nailed the Stacey Jacks character, even though it's different from the Broadway version of the show. But so those two songs, they're both, rock anthems. Everybody knows them. Everybody can sing along. Everybody at least knows the chorus. Two of the greatest rock hits of all time, but they just happen to come out in the year of 1987. So thank you, Bon Jovi, for Slippery When Wet. Thank you for entertaining us for years with your rock awesomeness. That's it.
They're great. Yeah. I love Bon Jovi. I love this second big album of theirs that has Bad Medicine and Lay Your Hands on Me. I don't know why I like those songs better. I probably would echo that Slippery When Wet is a better album, but for some reason, yeah, they're great, and they're fun to sing along to anywhere you are. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, yeah. Wow. What another. I'm looking at the year of 1987, and so many.
It's so hard
songs here to choose from.
It was really hard.
Oh, you had Hearts Alone, which I have rewritten the lyrics to, and is part of what we referred to as the Dirty Rotation back in the North End days. Oh my goodness. Good stuff. Okay, so your turn to recap first, my dear.
So my honorable mention, I Think We're Alone Now by the lovely Tiffany. And then from 5 to 1, Here I Go Again. I've Had the Time of My Life, Hit to Be Square, La Isla Bonita, and then a tie for first, Living on a Prayer, and Wanted Dead or Alive. From 1980.
Awesome sauce.
The year of my first concert.
Fan-freaking-tastic. So we for sure have one more episode for this series.
You have to recap.
Oh, I did. Yeah, you're right. I do. Sorry, my bad. Honorable mention, It's So Easy, Linda Ronstadt. Here You Come Again, Dolly. Last Dance, Donna. We Will Rock You, We Are Champions, Queen. You Light Up My Life, Debbie. Wow, I have like 3 D names in here. And then if you count Hey Deanie, I have 4. Sean Cassidy. And I am so embarrassed that I typed SHAWN, but he's an SHAUN. Oops. That's embarrassing. Yeah, great. We have at least one more episode connected to this topic.
Maybe 3.
Maybe 3, says Annie. We're still working on a couple other milestones. If you have an idea for a milestone, we would love to hear about it. And for that, you can leave a comment here on the YouTube channel, or you can email us at info@chrismcpeak.com. And we would love the ideas that you may want to share with us. In the meantime, that is this week's show. So For Annie Pruitt, I'm Chris McPeak, and we will catch up with you next time. Out.